Welcome. We are excited to be with Councilmember Lauren Schueler, candidate for Ward 2, in this City Council conversation with the Chamber of Commerce. Lauren, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you carving out time for us.
Absolutely.
Well, let's jump right into it. We've got a few questions to consider. Okay, so to begin with,
Okay.
what should the City Council do to boost economic development and quality job creation and retention?
Man, just
We're
right
gonna
on
hop
in.
right in. Yep.
Okay, so to boost economic development and high quality paying jobs. So I think that it's really important. We have something that is really unique, which is our university, and we have jobs where our university should be feeding into that job conversation. And I think that we should be doing more to capitalize on that relationship. To think about attracting businesses that need technical skills. I'm also thinking about more Norman Technology Center. Those are places that I think we really need to kind of sharpen up and have conversations about where we're getting our labor force. Okay. So I think that those are kind of the areas that I want to see us work on.
Very good. So the next question is a hotly debated topic in town right now. So in the summer of 2020, our city council voted to reduce 9 police positions. So we currently are staffed at 162 officers, authorized at 171 officers, and the voters have twice approved the public safety sales tax to achieve a total of 189 officers. So how do you propose to get us to a fully staffed department as approved by the voters of Norman?
Sure. I think that it's really important. I think the voters of Norman consistently, not only through public safety, but through things like transportation and through Norman Forward, roads have consistently showed us that they want to improve in their city and they want to invest in things that make our quality of life better. And so one of the things that I think that we haven't done in Norman, centered on the police department, is really thinking about a comprehensive study of what we need for our police department. We are an urban and rural city. We cover a large distance of mileage, and so what is the proper number? What do we actually need? And is that 189, or is that less, or is that more? I don't know that we really fully understand what we need for our police department, and I'd really like to look into that more.
So are you proposing additional studies then to evaluate what our ideal staffing level should be?
Correct.
Okay, very good. So next question is, the council, in some of this instance, has been recently, but has discussed business registration fees, utility connection fees, and other fees on businesses. So what are your thoughts on these particular fees, and then also your stance in general on business fees?
I think that we need to look at what are we charging our businesses? What is the comprehensive cost of kind of business startup, or the fees that we're charging businesses? And is that within the market? Is that competitive within kind of Oklahoma City, the regions around us? And if it's not, then we need to do some adjustment, up or down. I don't know that that's necessarily, I'm not against charging businesses certain fees, but I think that it needs to be competitive, and I think that we need to allow our businesses to thrive and to be able to foster, and so that they can make a profit and want to stay, and we want to be able to retain our businesses.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing in the word comprehensive, because often we look at these in a silo. One fee, oh, that's not that much, but when they're added onto each other things and hurdles, then it can be a detriment to business attraction. So I appreciate the comprehensive look at those
a holistic
things. Yes,
look.
Definitely. Okay, so you mentioned quality of life. Many of today's jobs are not static. People have choices where they can work and raise a family. So what's your plan to provide a quality of life that is second to none, so that Norman can retain its current workforce and attract new talent?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this goes back to the conversation about what are we doing to retain our university students to want to stay here, and I think that that does go into not only job creation, but housing, affordable housing, especially for young professionals starting up. And then what are they doing when they're here, right? What is our quality of life in terms of like parks, outdoor things to do, our things like our art walk, and other types of attractions that we can bring in that really want us to be able to work, live, and play. What I think what Norman Next and our young professionals are really trying to do, that's their kind of their slogan, and some of the things that they've been trying to do. And I think that those things are really important. And again, using this kind of the same word, but holistic and comprehensive, we can't look at everything kind of just at one time. We have to look at how does this shape a whole picture? And I think sometimes that those things get lost in the conversation.
You mentioned Norman Forward. What can we do to, we're 6 years now, so going to be 7 years into that project, which was incredibly transformative quality of life initiative that was overwhelmingly adopted by the voters in 2015. What can we do to get those projects done so that we can move on to Norman Forward 2 or whatever the next exciting quality of life initiative is?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've been trying to do that with some of kind of our fill-in with federal grant matching and really trying to make sure that we are capitalizing on any matching funds to bring those in. But it really is a commitment that we made to the community, and the community voted it in with overwhelming support. And so I think that we do have to get those done, and we have to get them done in a way that is good for our community and not shortchanging what we promised. And so I think that that's really the challenge. And when we look to a future, right, what is Norman Forward 2? What I really want to see is potentially less projects on the front end, and to really think a little bit more like what MAPS is doing, not exactly the way that they're doing it, but kind of targeting in on the things that we know we can get done, so that we're making sure that we're honing in on specific projects, 3, maybe 4, and not looking at it as this like large overarching package that is going to be a massive project for many, many years, and then things change, right? Building costs and development and all of those things change, and so projections make things more challenging for us. So I think to keep it simple so that we can then capitalize on our promises.
Sure.
And fulfill them.
The school system's doing a good job at that right now. They pass large bond packages, but then they get those done.
And we turn them
quick.
around. Things like we do for transportation, right?
Yeah.
We turn them around and we get those things done, and then we move on to the next package.
Right. Okay. So we've talked about some big issues, and so in the course of this conversation, you may have already suggested this, but then this is kind of there may be a new idea here. So what do you believe is the biggest issue facing our community today, and what are your plans to address it?
I think that one of the biggest things that we have not yet been able to address, frankly, is stormwater. And I think that it's really critical to the foundation of all of the things that we've been talking about in terms of being able to sustain businesses, to sustain the growth that we're having as we bring more housing into our community, as we bring more residents in. If we cannot figure out how to sustain and upgrade and maintain our stormwater, we have a fantastic plan that was passed, but we've never been able to fully fund. And so I think that we really need to manage the expectation of the voters and to really come together to figure out what is the right fee structure, if that is something like we're doing with our transportation bonds and things like that. But we really need to come together as a community to get this finished, because people's homes are flooding and we're losing yards, and things are caving in, and we're having bridges fail because of our inadequacy with stormwater management. And I think that is a really critical need.
Okay. Well, we're basically to the end of the question. So as we wrap up here, is there anything else that you would like our membership to know about your candidacy?
Yeah, I just think that one of the things that I think is really critical to Ward 2, and I think that it's been an ongoing discussion, is kind of our West Lindsay Street corridor. And so I think that what I would like to do and continue to try to do is kind of re-envision what that looks like for not only being the gateway to the university, but kind of the gateway to parts of this town, and a real iconic kind of thoroughfare through Norman. They've been hit, our businesses, by multiple waves of some real difficult challenges in terms of the road construction project, and then having the pandemic kind of hit them back to back. And so I really want to find ways to kind of come together to revitalize that area, but then also to support and thank the business owners that have really been through these last kind of 3 years at this point.
Okay. If anybody that's viewing in, if they have any questions or want to gain more information about you and your campaign, what's the best way for them to do that?
So my campaign is online. It is laurenforward2.com. And then you can also find me on the City of Norman page. And so all of my information is listed there under Ward 2.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in to this City Council candidate conversation with the Chamber. We're excited to be able to continue to share these conversations with you. And again, we encourage you to get out and vote on February the 8th. Become educated and vote. Thanks.